Hey College Success, this is your video for Tuesday, April 21st, which is week 14 of the semester. So we are quickly wrapping things up here. And so awesome, you're still with me, you're still persevering, and we're getting to the end of the semester here. So as a reminder, in your video for last week, which would have been the 14th, we started chapter 7. And so due tonight, Tuesday, April 21st, is your chapter 7 journal. So right inside chapter 7, there's your journal assignment. Remember, you're talking to me about a successful experience you've had this semester and why. So that is your 250 word or more prompt, that you'll be writing for me. So that is chapter 7. That is due tonight, Tuesday, April 21st, for week 13 attendance. All right, now we're going to just review chapter 7. Remember, this is our last chapter, so we are finishing up very soon here. Chapter 7, if you recall, was kind of about like celebrating success and reflecting. So we did talk about the importance of reflecting on progress, about how self-regulation is that setting a goal, going back and checking to see how is the goal going, and then adjusting as needed, and that you constantly need to be throughout this process to make sure that you're meeting the goals that you have set. And to do that, you could use a couple different kinds of feedback. Cognitive, meaning, okay, while I'm studying, how is this going? Is this working? Is this not working? And then outcome, did I do well? Did I not do so well? What do I need to do to be able to do better in the future? We also talked about how we need to be honest with our self-assessments and to understand that part of learning means that we're going to be making academic mistakes. And so what do we do with those mistakes? How do we attribute those? Do we understand that the most productive way is that they are internal, meaning something within ourselves caused us to succeed or to fail, and therefore we have the power to change it moving forward? That's the most productive way to view when we make a mistake, academically and otherwise, really. And then the chapter also talked about, staying motivated, and there's different theories of motivation. The video last week and your chapter, of course, goes into more depth about how we are motivated by either behavior, rewards, and consequences. We are motivated by cognitive means, meaning our thoughts. So we want to make sure that if we have negative or unproductive thoughts, we challenge those, and we try to kind of increase our self-efficacy. We also talked about we can be motivated by humanistic, meaning we have basic needs, and those have to be met before we can achieve higher self-actualization. And then finally, social motivators. The people around us have an impact on our motivation for the good and the bad. So then the chapter started to discuss how we can manage stress and the importance of doing so in a way that is healthy. So, eating right, exercising, being more mindful, and it goes into depth about different ways to stay mindful and then avoid things that are going to be more harmful to us. And then as I connected this, what we're going through right now is really great examples of resilience, and long-term we're managing and demonstrating grit, because we're bouncing back, we're facing adversity, but hopefully we're sticking it through so that we can finish successfully. And so part of making sure that you are persevering is to have a growth mindset, that you may not be great at something right now, but understanding hey, if I put more time or energy or work into this, I can eventually get better. So that's part of kind of persevering, as well as just staying motivated. So the last thing the chapter discusses is kind of the importance of support and making sure that you have a support system, whether it's here on campus, right now electronically or digitally, but even a strong support system with friends, with family, with a significant other, whoever that might be, and then relying on campus resources. And then finally, as it connects to your journal entry that you were doing for today, celebrating success, making sure that you take time to celebrate and acknowledge the work that you've been doing. So that's a quick reminder about chapter 7. So I do want to talk to you about your assignments that'll finish up chapter 7. So due on April 28th, and this will help me take week 14 attendance will be your Chapter 7 quiz. So here's the quiz in the Dropbox. You'll see they're in the same place. So you'll open up your quiz, and it's going to open up into a document. Hopefully we're used to this by now. So when it opens up, again, because these are take-home quizzes, essentially, they're not truly online, but they're more take-home since you have access to them and resources. Please make sure you're responding in 2 to 5 sentences. So look at these questions. Some of these you may have to revisit the text. Some of these you may just be able to use my PowerPoint or previous videos to kind of help. So there are a couple questions that have a couple different parts. Question 3, for instance, what is attribution theory? And what is the most productive way to interpret success and failure? So 2 parts there. Number 4 is compare and contrast cognitive and outcome feedback. So make sure you address both of those. And then we kind of get to number 6, which is an example of like motivation and specifically the cognitive approach, challenging unproductive thoughts. How would you go about helping your friend challenge those unproductive thoughts? Maslow's hierarchy of needs is that triangle that we saw a couple times. And then number 9, listen, we could use an example of going on right now, academic resilience, how you are sticking with it. And now number 10, why did you decide to go to college? What motivational theory is connected? So that's referencing back to one of our 4 theories. So there are 4 theories of motivation. Behaviors, 1. Cognitive is 2. Humanistic is 3. And social is 4. So that's what that question is asking. Which one of those 4 theories, or a combination, it can be a combo, is connected to why you're attending college, and kind of explain why that is. So that is your Chapter 7 quiz. That is due Tuesday, April 28th. It's going to help me count week 14 attendance. The second thing you're doing for me that finishes up Chapter 7, this is normally one of my favorite activities I do in class. I've had to adapt it a little bit for our purposes since we're online. So you can see it kind of goes with these 2 sections right here. Here's the actual assignment. There's the non-journal. It opens up into a PDF. And I normally have you get in groups, no technology, nothing, and you have to do this all on your own. Obviously, it's a little different now because in theory, you could Google this. I'm going to ask you, please resist the urge to Google these answers because, right or wrong, you're getting credit for doing this, I promise. So if you get them all wrong, you're still going to get credit because you're submitting it. If you get them all right, I know you Googled them because there are a couple of these that really are very difficult that you would only find by Googling or by looking them up somehow. So I promise you're not going to get points marked off. It is just a fun activity. When you submit, I will let you know which ones you got correct and which ones you did not, and I will tell you the right answers. But this is, again, in class, I would normally have us do this in groups with no technology access to try to see how many of these you could get. So this is success or failure, and it kind of shows it goes along with this chapter because this chapter talks about celebrating success, but also acknowledging that we're going to make mistakes and we may not succeed the first time. There are 10 examples of famous failures, 10 people who are actually really successful in their field, and success can be measured in different ways. Whether they did something to really push the field forward, they made a lot of money, they are famous somehow, whatever that might mean. 10 examples of someone who failed a lot before they made it. I'm going to ask that you look at those, and then here you go, right in here. You would click Chapter 7 non-journal answers, click right in there. That didn't work out quite the way I wanted it to, but you'll just right in there. 1 and who you think it is, 2 and who you think it is, 3 and who you think it is, and so on. So I'll change this around a little bit so that it doesn't look like that. Anyway, that's essentially what you're doing, though. You'll click in there, and then you can either write submission and answer them, or you can put them in the comments, or you can email me your answers, you can text me your answers, whatever the case is. Again, I'm going to kind of stress, please don't Google them. Make it a fun activity. See how many you can get right, and then submit, and I can let you know, because again, every single one of you who submits all 10, even if it's a wild, wild guess, as long as you submit all 10, then you're going to get your full points for this. So please make sure that you try it and just have a little fun with it. All right, so that's the Chapter 7 non-journal. So due next week for Tuesday, April 21st, you are again, for Tuesday, April 28th. This is the 21st video. For Tuesday, April 28th, you are completing your Chapter 7 quiz and the Chapter 7 non-journal, those 2 assignments. If you have not already done so, you are going to submit your Chapter 7 journal. So please make sure you do that tonight, Tuesday, April 21st. Again, I've been taking assignments late because my big thing is just get them in. Just submit them. And then for Tuesday, April 28th, you are submitting the Chapter 7 quiz and the Chapter 7 non-journal. All right, the last thing I want to discuss with you is... Sorry, there's 2 more things I actually want to discuss with you real quickly. I'm going to show you some resources because initially on today's date, Tuesday, April 21st, Elizabeth Inken-Shell was supposed to come in and talk to us, and she is a counselor here at the college. And so she normally comes in and she does, like a 20 to 30 minute presentation about stress and all the things that she does at the college and how she can help. So here is the web page. And I'm going to put this link in your email so that you can have access to it. So here we go. There's a whole page just for counseling here. And the things I really want you to kind of look out for, it does talk about all the counseling services. And I'm not sure if she's doing like online or virtual appointments, but that's her information there. And you can go down and it'll talk all about everything going on at the campus with counseling. But I wanted to show you is like the tools for coping. So there's a list of like different kinds of apps. If you're having any of these issues, you can be downloading those there, as well as just different online resources so that if you needed some different places to go, general mental health, eating disorders. So again, like anything that you might be struggling with or someone you know who might be struggling, I wanted to at least point you in this direction. Initially, there was a takeaway for Elizabeth. There's not going to be one. Do not worry about that. You are not doing a takeaway over Elizabeth. I've crossed that completely off the syllabus. I just want you to know about these resources so that in case you or someone you know could benefit from them, you can use those. Okay, so the last thing I do want to mention is your final project is coming up very soon. And I know in a previous video, I walked you through the final project again. I walked you through some examples, and I don't think I mentioned, but I'm going to mention it now. If you find a way to present your final project, if you can record yourself and upload the video, if you can, have someone else record it and upload the video, if you're, in a household with someone right now being quarantined together, I'm going to give you extra credit. I'm not requiring it. It is not a requirement that you present your PowerPoint. But if you are able to get into a program kind of like I am right now and share your screen and just record your voice going through the slides and talking to us. Well, me, really, because I'm the only one who's going to hear it. Or if you want to actually, if you have the ability to have your PowerPoint going on some kind of screen, whether it's your computer or you project it on a wall, if you have a projector, whatever, and then someone records you talking, whatever. If you can do that, I'll give you some extra credit. It is not a requirement. You do not have to do that, but I wanted to give that as an option because some of you might feel comfortable with some of this technology, whether it's FreeCam, whether it's Collaborate, whatever you can use to record. I know Loom. If you want to record yourself or screen share and record your voice, you'll get some extra credit for that because I wanted to allow you to try that if that's something that's interesting to you. Okay, so one last recap. Due tonight, Tuesday, April 21st, is your Chapter 7 journal. Due next week, Tuesday, April 28th, is your Chapter 7 vocabulary quiz and non-journal for week 14 attendance. All right. I will check back in with you very soon to kind of start wrapping things up for the semester.